But what I'm doing there is I'm going to do rust converter and wax and grease remover. Go through and clean up all the spots where I used WD-40 that didn't work. You see me in a very interesting place today. I'm at home. We're working on our travel rig because it needed a lot of work. The roof on it was very, very rusty. Still is. Would you like to see what I am doing? Now you see all that up there. That is all rust. And I don't want to put a roof on this thing. So I am going to do my best to get rid of that rust. So, Dee wanted me to video this, so I'm going to put you on a tripod, sit you up there, and I'm going to start grinding on this thing. After a fun day of, well, I'm pretty sure you saw what a fun day was. So here's what it looks like now. Yes, I know there's still rust patches, but what I'm doing there is I'm going to do rust converter, which converts it into primer. So I'm going to spray this all down with rust converter, let it sit for 24 hours. And then well, first I gotta wipe it all down. It needs a good tack cloth. Yeah, you see that? It needs a good tack rag. And then it's on to the rust converter and the primer. So what fun that'll be, huh?
few moments later.
What you just watched me do, well, for the past 2 days of me working on this thing, has been, well, first off, I wire wheeled the whole roof with wire knot and wire brush. Then I went through with 60 grit, sanded it all down with 60 grit, did 2 passes with 80 grit. I just did 1 pass over the whole roof with 150. That took, I think, 3 or 4 different pads. Then I just wiped it all down with a wet rag, trying to get all the dust off of it, trying to use it like a tack rag. Now I need some wax and grease remover, go through and clean up all the spots where I used WD-40 that didn't work. And then it's on to the rust converter. Because you'll see it's right now it still looks rusty, but I've got it sanded down to the point where I didn't dig the rust out. I'm not trying to dig into the metal. I don't want to see how far this rust goes. It seems like it's just surface rust, but it's on sheet metal. So sheet metal isn't that thick, so it's best off to not dig it if you don't have to, because then if I start digging and I create holes, then I've got to patch them. And I already have some work to do with patching the roof as it is, because when I was pulling the roof rack off, the screws, the head of the screws stripped out because they were Torx. So I drilled those out, and then once I got the roof rack off, I had all the basically studs sticking out of the roof. So I WD-40'd those, put a pair of vice grips on them, and lo and behold, the anchor in the roof started spinning instead of the screw coming out. So I had to cut them all loose, cut them all off down to the roof line. Now I need to drop the headliner and cut all those anchors out and replace the anchors. That's a job for another day, not today. Today I'm finishing up the roof, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day I might start pulling the headliner down. I don't know. That's a lot of work. Permatex rust treatment destroys rust on contact. I coated the entire roof. Well, I will show you why. Alright, so you see all that brown stuff all over the place? The whole length of the roof? That's all rust. So I took it and I sanded it all down, like I explained. Now I've coated it with that. I'm going to let it sit for 12 hours. Let it soak, get the rust all turned into some kind of primable surfaces. Well, it says it turns into like a primable surface. So I'm going to put primer over the top of it. And just flat black primer. But hopefully it'll keep it from rusting.
The next day.
Alrighty, so I kind of forgot to finish you guys off on what I did on this roof. So I know it looks dirty, but that's just because there's all kinds of crud sitting up there from things blowing around. So it's completely painted. I had to drill and replace some bolts in the roof rack because yeah, that they kind of stripped out on the way out. So I had to get a new tool to put in the zerk nuts that go in there. You see how I mangled that up, drilling out the head. So yeah, there's what's done there. So my next step, since I thought to replace those zerk nuts down there, I could get up in here and get to the backside. But yeah, no, that didn't happen. So I ground them out and decided, well, since I've got the headliner down anyways, I'll try to reupholster it. That apparently has gone not so well. Still working on that.